Been seeing a lot of people over the last 24 hours talking about why Becky Lynch won the Women's World Championship on Monday Night Raw and why it wasn't Liv Morgan. You guys heard me on last week's couple of streams. I was going Liv Morgan to win the championship on Raw. However, I'm open-minded. Becky Lynch won the title, and I'm looking at this long-term, probably like Triple H is too, and going, why did Becky win the title? Where is Liv going to win the title? Because you know she's got to win it eventually. And how does it tie into the inevitable Rhea Ripley feud when Rhea Ripley comes back from injury? Let us start with Liv Morgan. Now, Liv Morgan's kind of in this role right now, where I wouldn't call her a full-on heel yet, because she's not. She was just a babyface, technically, a number of weeks ago. But the second she injured Rhea Ripley, unintentionally, but injured Rhea Ripley on the Raw after WrestleMania, and then we saw the response a week later, you can already see the crowd, the Rhea Ripley fans, and the people who just maybe don't like Liv Morgan, or whatever the case is, already starting to boo Liv Morgan. You're seeing that transition in the crowd. Triple H ain't dumb, and this was, I honestly think, was probably going to happen anyway, and Rhea Ripley's injury just added on top of it. But Rhea Ripley has naturally turned babyface without actually turning babyface. The crowd has turned her that. She doesn't have to act like one, to be one. And when Rhea and Liv inevitably fought, the crowd was going to be on Rhea Ripley's side, at least 80%, I'd say. So we were probably heading towards a Liv Morgan heel turn. And it's very similar to the Drew McIntyre stuff, where everything McIntyre and all his reasoning for turning heel and this change of character in the fall and then into the winter that we saw was all justified. Same thing with Liv Morgan here, and she's very true when she says she took out Rhea Ripley and she's the bad guy, but then Rhea took her out last year and nobody batted an eye. Obviously, she said it in her own way. I'm just paraphrasing here. But now Liv takes out Rhea Ripley, and now we just added a whole nother layer to this storyline. The thing is, you can't really capitalize it right now because Rhea Ripley is on the shelf, and we don't know when she's going to come back. A lot of people saying it looks like maybe after SummerSlam, sometime in the fall. Rhea Ripley will probably be back by the end of the year. I think that's a safe bet, but she's not here right now. So what do we do with Liv Morgan until then? And also, how do we get Liv Morgan to the position she should probably be in, which is a full-on heel the time Rhea Ripley comes back, which you know is going to be a monstrous babyface reaction when she does. How do we get Liv Morgan there? Who can she feud with? And what's her chase to the Women's World Championship going to be like? Insert Becky Lynch. And you know, one thing that's been bothering me on social media, and I always get bothered on social media because I just can't take 90% of the takes out there. It feels like everybody wants long-term booking until they get it, and then they're like, it's not really what I wanted. Becky Lynch wins the Women's World Championship, and I'm seeing people, it's a lot of Liv Morgan stans and just weirdos on the internet, but people saying Becky doesn't deserve it and earn it, and words that get thrown out all the time, just miscellaneously. But one thing I don't want to hear anybody saying is Becky Lynch doesn't deserve to be Women's World Champion. I picked Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, not because I dislike Becky Lynch, but because Rhea was the right choice, and she won because she was the right choice. You can't argue that Becky Lynch was the right or wrong choice in the women's Battle Royal, on Monday Night Raw. And whether some people like it or not, Becky Lynch is absolutely one of the top stars in the company. So if Rhea Ripley goes down, another top star, in my opinion right now, bigger than Becky Lynch, well then why not put the Women's World Championship on one of the other top stars during a time where Rhea's out, Punk's out, Rollins is out, Roman's obviously gone right now, The Rock just left. Like, a lot of the top stars that were carrying WrestleMania season are nowhere to be found right now. So putting the championship on a top star like Becky Lynch, I really can't argue the business mind behind that. But honestly, I think there's an underlining story that's way more important than that. I would rather see Becky Lynch hold the Women's World Championship, winning it in a Battle Royal, last eliminating Liv Morgan, and Liv a few months from now pin Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship, rather than Liv just get lucky, tossing Becky over the top rope, and wins the Women's World Championship in the middle of this tweener role that she's kind of in right now. And I think you're really killing a couple birds with one stone here. Let's look at Becky Lynch as the Women's World Champion right now. You got some possibilities, some fun possibilities for Becky as champion, especially with the draft coming up this Friday and next Monday. Becky and Liv are going to go at it eventually, but that might not be till Clash of the Castle, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, might not be till an episode of Raw. I don't think Becky and Liv go one-on-one until Liv probably wins the title, honestly. So we could be looking at a couple-month Becky Lynch run as champion, all the while Liv Morgan is raking up some victories, building herself up as a legit contender, and not just going from 1 week getting lucky and injuring Rhea Ripley to the next week she wins a Battle Royal and now she's the Women's World Champion just like that. I'd rather see Becky win the title, go at whoever as champion, maybe Piper Niven, Nia Jax, two people who she was mixed it up with in the Battle Royal on Monday. Plus we have the draft again this coming week. We could see Damage Control, and I'm just throwing out names here, but we could see Damage Control from Friday Night SmackDown jump to Monday Night Raw in the draft. I personally wouldn't mind an Io Sky versus Bayley rematch over on SmackDown, and considering I think Bayley will stay on SmackDown and Becky will stay on Raw, we could see Damage Control join the Red brand. We could see Becky versus Io for the championship in the near future. That would be a hell of a matchup that I don't think we might have got it on Raw at some point during the Becky Lynch versus Damage Control storyline, but obviously on a premium live event for the Women's World Championship would be that much greater. And Rhea Ripley was pretty much taking on anybody as the Women's World Champion, but Becky Lynch, the certified top star babyface as Women's World Champion, opens up some different possibilities with that title, some new matches, some different ones we haven't seen for a while. And again, I think it's most important here because as Becky Lynch can rake up some victories retaining the Women's World Championship, we could be on the other side with Liv Morgan, building her up, actually getting some legit victories, and making her look like a legit contender and not somebody who just got lucky injuring Rhea Ripley and then winning the title in a Battle Royal. We have the Queen of the Ring coming up, and people are talking about Io Sky possibly winning that tournament. People are talking about Tiffany Stratton possibly winning that tournament. What about Liv Morgan winning the Queen of the Ring tournament? Liv Morgan can fall down this past Monday on a Raw in the Battle Royal, coming up short, and now bounces back, enters the Queen of the Ring tournament. And I assume it's probably going to only be like 8 women instead of, a full 16-person bracket. So can go through 3 rounds, make it to Saudi at the end of May, challenge whoever in the finals. And maybe that's a big star that Liv fights in the finals. Who knows? And then Liv possibly wins the Queen of the Ring tournament. Doesn't that make her look that much better than winning a fluke Battle Royal? And again, all the while this is happening, Liv's kind of playing this tweener role in the revenge tour that she's on, and maybe victory by victory we're seeing Liv get a little bit more aggressive, and maybe towards the end of the tournament or even down the line when she inevitably fights Becky Lynch, that's when we go full on heel Liv Morgan. That's when she cheats to win. That's when she does a rake to the eyes or something like that. Just something just to see that she's willing to do any means necessary to complete her revenge tour, not only beating Rhea or injuring Rhea Ripley, but winning the Women's World Championship and going full Liv Morgan heel turn. That needs to happen, and that I do think will happen. And at that point, when Liv beats Becky Lynch, again, whether it's at Clash, whether it's at Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, an episode of Raw, Liv's gonna look that much better and be that much more of a star as the Women's World Champion rather than just winning a Battle Royal in front of a dead crowd in Columbus, Ohio. Then when Rhea Ripley comes back to a monstrous babyface reaction that is going to happen, Rhea vs. Liv is going to be that much better for probably the back half of 2024 whenever Rhea Ripley comes back. And who knows, we had a very quick face-to-face on Monday Night Raw. Dominic Mysterio turns around and Liv Morgan standing right there, and then it just cut to something else. But, I put on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, during Raw, one thing that could really get Liv some nuclear heat during this heel turn, add in Dominic Mysterio. What if Liv were to steal Dom away from Rhea? I know romantics, I don't even want to call it romantic, but like storylines like that are a thing of the past, and I'm right there with you because obviously we know Dominic's married to somebody who's not even in the wrestling business. Rhea's with Buddy, but like we all know the Rhea and Dom relationship that's played out on television. It's not over the top, but there's something there. Imagine if Liv were to steal Dominic Mysterio from Rhea, and then Dom and Liv are walking around and Liv's the Women's World Champion. Maybe Dom's got a title by then, depending on if his injury's that serious, and then Rhea comes back. Oh my God. The babyface reaction for Rhea and the nuclear heat for Liv as champion with possibly Dom. Are you kidding me? To all the people upset that Liv Morgan didn't win the Women's World Championship on Raw and Becky Lynch did, I don't know what to tell you. I think they just laid out a couple of months worth of storylines. I think they're playing the long game with Liv Morgan, and I think they are just not rushing getting the championship on Liv, turning her heel, especially when Rhea's not going to be back for a couple of months. We got time to kill. Let's have some fun. As The Rock said on the road to WrestleMania, sometimes you just got to shut the F up and enjoy the ride, and I'm here for it. But let me know down below in the comments, what do you guys think is going to happen? Who should be Becky Lynch's first challenger as Women's World Champion? When do you think Liv Morgan will win the title? title? And while we're at it, who do you think's going to win the Queen of the Ring tournament next month? Let me know down below in the comments. Be sure to stay tuned to the channel. I got a video coming out tomorrow, a little bit of a final preview for this weekend's draft coming up on SmackDown and Raw. Super excited for the draft. Stay tuned to the channel. That's coming out tomorrow. Go follow me across all social medias at Noah Nation Vlogs. Hit the like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.